Hey guys, today on Music Nerds, I'm here with Andries, if I said that right.
Yeah.
And here's a luthier, and he's going to be talking about what a luthier does. So, now, when you're playing at home, and you know, for people that have never really been to a luthier before, what are some things that you should sort of look out for that might be showing that you might need to go and visit your local luthier?
Great, that's a fantastic question. So what we do is, when we play the guitar, we have a string that vibrates up and down. And the string needs to touch the metal in order to create a note. So when that string and the metal starts touching each other, they start to wear, and you get deep dents in the frets. Now normally, when people are starting out to play, they only play in the first 3 frets, which is called the major chords. And as they move along, they end up in this area, which is the danger zone. That's where all the solos take place. And then, if they play for a long time, there will be some fret wear in this area as well. So when you see your guitar and you see a lot of these dents, if they're more on this side, you're more of a beginner player. But as you move along, the dents will get evenly distributed there as well. So the problem with dents are that once a dent is formed, you actually have to treat the dent, otherwise it works itself deeper really, really quickly. So that's the one thing that a luthier can do to you, is to make the...
When you're saying that, is that meaning that in between your frets here, you'll actually start wearing into your fretboard down there?
No, if you have a look on top of the fret,
yes.
You'll see the dents on top of the fret.
Yes.
So that's where the contact of the string and the fret is actually making contact. But you see that fret is very deep.
Yes.
And there's almost no frets where there.
Right.
And that creates unevenness.
Okay.
So then you normally see that your action will go higher and higher because you'll get some fret noise. This one's still perfectly cool. But if you go to some notes, they'll start to become fuzzy.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of a ring there.
Right.
And that's where the fret is flat.
Right.
So you want the fret to be perfectly round, because then you get the top of the fret. When it becomes flat, there's a lot of material that connects the string with the fret. And then you get these kind of noises.
Okay guys, so like people out there who think that the little holes in your frets are like war wounds, fix them. They're not actually cool. They're going to stuff your guitar up. So
that's right. So those little holes will affect the setup. Now the setup is basically the height at the saddle, which is the back part here, and the height at the front with some neck relief in the neck. So that you have a high point, and a little bit of bow in between. If we played right here in the middle, then the string will just go up and down like this.
So you want the guitar to have a slight bow this way, not that way.
That being said, that is the equivalent of probably a kilometer, and then you take and you bend a rope like a little bit.
Okay.
So that is like almost straight.
Yep.
So to the naked eye, see that little gap there in between?
Yes.
That little gap is about 0.004 of an inch.
Yeah.
And that's perfect.
Not that easy to see.
Yeah, but you can see the string can go up and down.
Yes.
There's a little bit of... If I take a feeler gauge, I can put it on the 7th fret, and I can actually move it up and down, and I can see where that bend is.
Okay.
So you want a little bit of bend. Most guys' guitars end up being like that.
Right.
So then they have a high action and they can't really play it. So
yeah,
you want it
chords start getting
almost
very,
straight.
very painful.
That's it. if the neck is too straight, you'll start to get buzz in this area.
Okay.
If it's too bent, you'll start to get buzz in this
up
area.
there.
So most guys set the guitars up with more relief than it needs to, because most guys don't play in this area.
Okay. Yep.
But if you have an accomplished player, they want the strings relatively low for their playing style, especially if they're jazz players, because the jazz change chords everywhere and very fast.
Okay.
So the distance needs to be very equal. Whereas a blues player wants the strings to have a little bit more slack.
Okay.
And that slack gives you a feeling where you can bend the string easily.
Okay.
And if there's a little bit more bend in the neck,
yes,
it makes the strings bend a little easier.
Okay.
So the string tension feels much nicer with a little bit more relief. So a blues player would do a lot of big bends, and they would like a little bit more of a curve.
Oh, awesome. What do you do, say, if you've dropped your guitar and you get a bubble? Like, is there anything that can be done about that sort of thing?
You can do anything to the guitar to make it perfect again. The problem just is there's always a cause and reaction. So in order to take the bubble out, you will have to give some steam to the wood where the wood becomes pliable again in order to get the bubble out.
Yes.
When you add moisture, you can get braces that become loose. So you're fixing one problem, but you can create a whole lot of other problems.
Okay, so it's not a simple, easy fix.
It's not a simple, easy fix. Most guitars will get a belly in the back here.
Yes.
And they will get a hollowness in the front, and that's because of the X braces. So the X braces create a stiffer point here and a not so stiff point there because the braces are like that. So they're forming an X. So the stiffness are in this corner, and there's not a lot of stiffness there. So there will be a lot more pull up on the back than it will be in the front. Okay. And that's why this belly forms normally over time. Now, in itself, the belly is not a problem. It's only when the back part of the bridge pins, when that lifts significantly and your saddle height cannot create a dead stop for the bridge. So only when this part raises too much and you actually start lifting, then it really becomes a problem.
Okay, so I've got a question on for a new guitar player, and you've just bought their first guitar. The recommendation would be to bring it to a person like you to get it set up first, because they don't come from the factory set up, do they?
No, they don't. There's two legs to it. The thing is, if you are a beginner guitar, your grace and way that you grab the guitar is going to be a lot more robust than a seasoned player.
Yes. Yeah.
A new guitar player is like very articulated with the right hand. They really strum hard and they press down because it tends to sound fuzzy when they don't press the note right.
Okay.
But when you press the note too much, you overpress it and it becomes sharp again.
Right.
So my thing is that the teachers normally know quite a well of what their students can do.
Yep.
So if you are with a teacher, then ask them about your guitar as well and see how their guitars are set up.
Okay.
If you are a very hard player and your teachers say, well, I've been playing for 22 years and my guitar is very low, your guitar should be low as well, it can be a problem.
Okay.
So my thing is, in the beginning, if your guitar is slightly higher, it's not a nice thing, but it creates a thing where you can learn better because you can strum hard, there's not a lot of buzzes. And as you grow and become better, I think your guitar can be looked at.
You start lowering it down.
And then we can lower it down and you start playing softer. So it all depends on the player. If a player is a very robust player, you will always need a little bit more room for that string to vibrate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about this awesome saddle thing you've got going on for me here. Like why you did this and why it's going to be better for me.
Fantastic. All right. So what happened with guitar players is they tend to rest their hand on the bridge, and when they do that, they start muting the strings when they play, and it's an action that actually pushes the string down. And when you do that, you can play with a shark fin, red shark fin. This country doesn't have them, but if you play with a light pick, people say, I break strings, but I play with a light pick.
I say that all the time.
It's this part of your hand that's the problem, because as you mute and you keep your hand on the bridge, you're literally punching the strings, and when it goes over the saddle at an angle, that breaking point is just very sharp. So after a while, I started experimenting with materials, and I found that a string comes already equipped to be a saddle as well. So on the end of the string is a little ball end that keeps the string from coming out of the top. And I use those ball ends because they're from the same material as the string, so the two frictions are very, very small. And then I insert that into the saddle at the right radius and at the right intonation. And then what's happening is You've got metal on metal with a break angle that's slightly round. And now if you punch it, because there's a little hollowness in the round part, you actually don't hit the string alone, you hit some of the part next to it as well. So it just helps the string to not snap so quickly and break off. So we want to give the strings a chance to get old before they break.
Yeah, excellent.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we all want our strings to last as long as possible, especially if you're gigging a lot, because it all adds up.
That's exactly it. So that's why I do this setup. It's problematic in the sense that you have to have all of the tension right on the bridge, because the pickup works with tension, and if one isn't seated nice, you might get notes that's softer than other notes. So it's an intricate little thing to do, but over the years I've made a little jig and it's much easier. So that's all good.
Absolutely amazing.
What I would like him to do is in a couple of months maybe do a follow-up and see how much strings you did break.
Yes.
Did it actually work for you?
Yeah.
Because that will be a good indication if this sort of thing works for you.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this today. Hopefully in the future we might talk to you again and maybe do an electric guitar one or something like that. And so how do people get a hold of you if they want you to do your amazing work on the guitars?
So there's a few places. You can go to guitarrepairs.co.nz,
Okay.
or you can go directly to the fretshop.co.nz.
Awesome. And I'll add some links to that at the end of the video, so
Yeah.
it's nice and easy for you guys to find.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to making some guitars great. Thank you guys.
Excellent. Thanks guys, I'm Paul. Catch you later.